to the CE Pro podcast. I'm Executive Editor Arlen Schweiger. Calendar may have just turned to April, but we're thinking September in this week's episode. We're looking ahead to the CEDIA Expo in Indianapolis as Visit Indy's Morgan Snyder tells us why the city is ready for much more than just March Madness in 2021. Plus, Emerald's Jason McGraw outlines current health and safety protocols in place and answers other burning questions for exhibitors and attendees as the industry looks forward to meeting at an in-person event again. Jason McGraw, Group Vice President at Emerald, and Morgan Snyder, Director of Public Relations at Visit Indy. Thank you guys both so much for joining the CE Pro podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Arlen.
So we're into April now. We are about 5 months away from the CEDIA Expo 2021, which is scheduled to take place in Indianapolis, September 1st through 3rd. First time back in Indy since 2012. We wanted to check in because we know our CE Pro audience certainly has a bunch of questions surrounding this show. So we wanted to provide an update for everyone in the plans. Jason, let's start with you. So you joined Emerald last November to oversee the CEDIA Expo, among other things. The virtual expo had taken place a couple of months prior. I'm sure as soon as you started, people right away were asking you about 2021. So, let's just go, just to get right into it. What's the status of the expo today?
All systems are go, Arlen. We're excited about the return of the in-person CEDIA Expo, September 1 through 3 in Indianapolis. As everyone's known, the COVID pandemic has really put, a wet blanket over live events, in-person events over this past year. So we're very excited about the opportunity to be able to come back together with an in-person event. It'll be 2 years since our last in-person CEDIA Expo. So 2 long years, unfortunately. But we're very thrilled to have the opportunity now that things are moving along with vaccination rollout and herd immunity and reduction of cases with COVID. Things are pointing in a very positive direction for a successful return and a safe return of in-person events. And so we're looking forward to it, and we're making all plans and preparations to have a great show.
Yeah, I know ISE, the Integrated Systems Europe, the big show over there, recently had a research poll where they found that 98% of the survey takers said that they were looking forward to going back to an in-person show. We certainly all are looking forward to doing it. And I know ISE has recently kind of changed around their schedule a little bit. They're going to do a combination of some 2-day events. But Jason, in terms of that positivity, I imagine you're on the phone with exhibitors and potential exhibitors that you're trying to convince to be exhibitors every day in terms of, hey, why should we come back to the CEDIA Expo to an in-person event? Why should we be participating in the show? So what have their attitudes been like when you've been talking to the exhibitors? Do they, obviously as a natural byproduct, they would be expecting fewer attendees, I'm sure, for an in-person event. Does that mean that, they're excited about, say, having a more meaningful conversation with attendees? What are some of the things that they're running around in their heads as we get near, the show?
Sure, Arlen. We in our CEDIA Expo sales team, we've been communicating regularly with our exhibitors. We already have over 200 brands committed and contracted with exhibits. We continue to talk to companies every single day. We're expecting to have 350 exhibitors by showtime. Yes, certain brands have, changed, what they're planning to do or what they might bring or how many people they might bring. Other brands have been fully committed, large exhibits sizes, planning for training and demo rooms and events at the show. Today it's been kind of mixed. Some companies, especially some international brands, have been more cautious, because there's still been travel restrictions in place from various international destinations. But those are changing, by the day and the weeks ahead. I think there are concerns around how many people are going to come out. Obviously we don't know for certain. We think there's a huge pent up demand from the industry to get back to the in-person event. People have not been able to go to any other shows. There haven't been any industry events to see products firsthand, to attend in-person education sessions, to have peer networking opportunities. All the things that we miss and love about trade shows, that experience that happens, the serendipity that happens from being in a show where you can see products, you can learn, you can bump into people at a bar, restaurant, your hotel, and you're one of you're with your peers and colleagues talking business and for professional development. So all those reasons, those that do come to the show, which we hope is as many as possible, they have needs and desires to learn, to see products, and to accelerate their business. So the quality of attendee is going to be fabulous. And so, that's what we say to exhibitors: take advantage of that opportunity. Also show leadership, that you're trying to, bring back business, accelerate your business into the coming year, and to be seen. You want your brand to be out there in the marketplace. You want to show your support for the channel. You want to show your support for the CEDIA organization by being at the event, and show that you're a leader in the marketplace. So, we're very positive about having a successful show, and we think it's an excellent opportunity that companies have not had for well over a year. Even other competing events, the CESs, the Infocoms, the NABs, the ISCs haven't happened. So, we're going to be the first, leading electronics show out there in over 12 months. So I don't know. I sound very passionate about it, and I am.
Well,
I think
from that
companies
pent
should
up
step up
demand
and be there.
standpoint,
I'm
from
sorry.
that pent up demand standpoint, certainly we've been hearing that for so long now, and it makes so much sense. I mean, there's only so much that as I think as solid an event as it was, there's only so much the virtual event can replicate an in-person event, and there's only so much that we've all been on Zoom for a year now. There's only so much that can replicate in-person meetings, things like that. I think you're absolutely right about that. And I know that the manufacturers have had lots of questions for you and the organization about health and safety protocols, and we'll get into those specifics in a little bit. But first, before we do that, I did want to turn to Morgan. So Morgan, in terms of health and safety and going back to events like we haven't had for a year, case in point is Indianapolis right now is in the spotlight across basically with eyes across the country looking upon it because of the NCAA basketball tournament. So what can you tell us in terms of things getting kind of back to normal or having large events and crowds? Indianapolis, and as well as some other venues and locales in the state of Indiana, have been hosting this tournament. What does this say about Indianapolis and what people can expect, and what kind of preparations did the city have to do to have this current event going on?
Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, in order to be able to host an entire NCAA March Madness tournament in one city, which has never been done before in sports history, we had to have a proven track record that we could put this together and we could do it safely and successfully for the attendees and the fans and the teams coming into the city. And so it's crazy to look back on, but we're over a year away from that. So March 17th, the Indiana Convention Center, March 17th, 2020, the Indiana Convention Center shut their doors, and we were all in the same situation across the country and watched our industry just crumble. And there's no doubt, everyone can say the travel and tourism industry was one of the hardest hit industries with this pandemic. But we are also a city that we cannot stop creating. Our conventions are very important to us. We miss CEDIA. We are so excited to have this group back in the city since it's been since 2012, since we've been able to welcome CEDIA and Emerald. So we're doing everything we can with every event, fine tooth comb, how we can put on these events safely and successfully. And so starting in March of last year, we quickly went into implementing $7 million in health and safety features inside the Indiana Convention Center. Really, this looked like bringing in a hospital-grade air filtration system immediately, bringing in the plexiglass structures, the one-way signage. All facilities went to contactless doors, faucets, sinks, toilets, increasing all of the hand sanitizer stations around the convention center and in common spaces throughout the city. A Clorox 360 cleaning process, which is quite impressive, that now takes place between any events and on a daily schedule inside the Indiana Convention Center. And so because of that, people started paying attention to what's going on inside the Indiana Convention Center and those steps we were making to make it a safe space. And so we also received the GBAC accreditation, which is the highest accreditation you can receive from a global biorisk accreditation. Our airport went in and they got the highest accreditation they could receive in health and safety features. We also received the Clean Air Filtration Award from NAFA, which was exciting. And then we also received the Centers for Excellence Award by Exhibitor Magazine, because people, again, they saw what we were doing, all hands on deck. It really, truly was a citywide collaboration to get this industry back on track. And we want to be the poster child to say, here's, it can happen, and we can do this safely and successfully, and let's do this for the industry. And so, starting in June of 2020, we really started seeing events come back because we could showcase how we were able to do this. And since then, we've had about 51 live events, 130,000 attendees throughout the city, and that leads us. That does not include an NCAA March Madness tournament. So that's where we are now.
Right. And it's not full capacity like in past years where you're bringing, 75,000 people maybe to a game or something like that. But still, it's an influx of people. And it sounds like that the downtown especially has been really been ready for this for several months now.
We have. I mean, just you cannot believe all the planning that goes into putting on something like this. Well, actually, you guys can, because you're doing something very similar in September, and many of those safety procedures will be. This is a case study, and how we can use this for future conventions coming into the city. So it truly has been an all hands on deck, and so far so great. Everything is going so well with the NCAA tournament. You're right. It is. We're at 25% capacity in our venues, and we look at right now in the state of what's going on in the country and in Indianapolis. We are still working with limited capacities and one-way flows and wearing masks and hand sanitizer stations anywhere and everywhere. So just taking those precautions into place, and with vaccinations coming on board quicker than I think, especially for the state of Indiana, than we anticipated, things are really, really moving in the right direction. And I'm so hopeful by the time CEDIA lands in the city in September that we can all feel a lot more comfortable with where we are. But again, we have a proven track record of doing this, and we'll be ready come September.
Yeah, it's really great to hear. So let's move things then inside the Indiana Convention Center. Jason, can you kind of elaborate a bit on what you and Morgan were talking about then, in terms of, Morgan said that obviously this place is ready to go in terms of health and safety. Some specific things can you address for manufacturers and attendees in terms of health and safety protocols? I know there's a big FAQ or information up on the CEDIA Expo website. What are some of those specifics that you can tell us in terms of the mask wearing, temperature taking, sanitizing, things like that?
Yes, Arlen, all of those things. In fact, Emerald has, successfully put on some trade shows this year. We had our Surf Expo down in Orlando, which went on very safely using, Emerald's health and safety protocols.
And that was an indoor event?
Best practices. So, we have a health and safety plan right on our CEDIAExpo.com website. So attendees can take a look at that. We've added FAQs, as you've just mentioned, based on questions we've been receiving from exhibitors and attendees. so also sharing links to information from the convention center's website, as well as health and safety guidelines that we've established Emerald-wide that we're looking to implement at live events as we come back this year.
Right. So
On
what are
more
some
events.
of the specifics of those, Jason, that you can tell us about that people should know?
Well, today, I mean, and I want to stress today, we're months away from the show. There are restrictions in place on, capacity limits in the convention center, currently at 25% capacity. And a lot of that's driven by social distancing. So, maintaining a 6-foot radius around each individual, clearly, looking at a meeting room that would normally hold 100 people pre-COVID, right now can maybe hold 30. But we have ample meetings. We have the entire convention center. We have lots of meeting rooms. The hall's massive. So, having attendees go into the hall, we'll certainly have plenty of capacity in the hall to accommodate all CEDIA attendees and exhibitor personnel. So we don't, envision having, to queue up people and wait to send people in at a given time based on the current limits, which, we are optimistic will, keep increasing. So we have information about that on our website. Attendees and exhibitors should be prepared to wear face masks. Exhibitors should be prepared to think about cleaning their exhibit booths and surfaces that, are being touched and so forth. We're adding air purifiers in our sound rooms on the show floor. Increased cleaning regimen, between class sessions and the show floor, or excuse me, show floor sessions on stages and the education sessions in the meeting rooms. Food and safety, food and beverage safety, individually wrapped grab and go package, food items, those kind of things. I really applaud the convention center, and Morgan touched on this. Their whole team has really kind of looked at every aspect of the user experience at the convention center in terms of, cleaning and safety. Today we have a pretty strong plan in place. We'll adapt that plan as necessary as we move forward to the show. But clearly, our commitment is to have a safe event. We've laid out the show floor, and there's a live link on our website to the current exhibit plan with current list of exhibitors. We have booths of great sizes and some great traffic aisles that'll get people to and fro on the plan and allow for safe social distancing while visiting the exhibits. So overall, all those things happening, are not an impediment to having a great event. And I want to stress that, that it'll be easy for attendees to come in the building, to be able to get access to the exhibits, to register, pick up their badges, visit the meeting rooms, the sound rooms, the manufacturer product training rooms, and the events that will be held before and after hours, the keynotes and so forth. The other great thing about the convention center is its proximity. All the hotels are literally within walking distance or across the street, down the street. Same with many of the bars and restaurants. So it's in perfect time of year from a weather perspective. So we're really excited about getting back to Indy. We know we're going to have a safe show. We will make it as easy and as comfortable and convenient as possible to have a great event.
Jason, with things like demo rooms, sound rooms, is it just that they're going to be less seating for those? Are those going to be larger to still try and accommodate as many people as they can? Or how do you expect those particular spaces to go?
Well, historically, we have had up to 20 sound rooms on the show floor. They're of a fixed size. They're approximately 600 square feet in size. So there will be a limit today on the number of attendees that can be in a room at any one time experiencing a demo. We hope that those capacity limits increase by the show time. But even if they don't, I mean, the fact that, you could get, 6 or 8 people into a room to hear a demo and then move out freshen up, have the next group of people come through. Manufacturers and attendees will have ample opportunities to be able to demonstrate their products in their sound rooms. And, we also have rooms off the show floor, high performance audio rooms, manufacturer product training rooms that are larger than that, that even with social distancing, they'll be able to go in there and experience the products and demonstrations. So, we feel confident that we'll be able to work with manufacturers, on how they'll clean between demos, how they'll be able to move folks through them safely and still have a great experience.
And Morgan, between between now and CEDIA Expo, obviously the NCAA tournament going on, and you mentioned events in the past, but it's not exactly like Indianapolis is slowing down, right? In terms of the schedule coming up for downtown Indy. What can you tell us about, what else the city is bracing for and how confident the city is with its preparations between now and September 1st?
Sure. Well, we're gonna crown a champion, Final Four weekend here in the city, and then we're gonna turn the page and we welcome a gospel coalition inside the Indiana Convention Center. We welcome a volleyball tournament, which will have upwards of 18,000 athletes coming in and out of the convention center at staggered arrival and departure times, with temporary volleyball courts and within the convention center. We have an Indianapolis 500, which we have a new owner, Roger Pinsky, who says this event is going to happen this year, and they're holding mass vaccinations out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to get as many Hoosiers vaccinated as possible. But I think that just also goes to show you that we're really working towards making sure we can host the world's largest single-day sporting event in the city come Memorial Day weekend. And while it might not be the 300,000 spectators that we typically see, we want cars on the track and some fans in the stands, and doing so safely and successfully. Turn the page to June. We have a Sweets and Snacks Expo that was originally slated to host their convention in Chicago and has moved to Indianapolis to host their convention here. And like Jason said, I mean, we're continuing to welcome visitors to the city, continuing to do this safely and successfully. I'm excited about the time of year that CEDIA is coming in, because I love September in Indianapolis. You can still have your outdoor patio dining. Currently, our restaurants are operating at 75% capacity indoors and 100% capacity outdoors. So all of that will be still widely available for CEDIA attendees to come in and enjoy. So we have a pretty robust calendar of events ahead of us, and hopefully we can continue to move in the right direction and prove that we can get this industry up and running again.
Sounds great. And is there anything, any other final considerations you could tell us, Morgan, for in terms of travel prep that people can expect coming into the city, the airports, the driving? I know obviously being in the Midwest, we're excited to have a huge chunk of the country being very accessible to getting to Indianapolis.
Sure. We've actually seen that be such a success factor for hosting the NCAA tournament, and that is Indianapolis is so centrally located in the country. We're within a day's drive to more than half of the nation's population. So for those that aren't feeling comfortable boarding a plane, get in the car and make a road trip out of it. And once you get here, I can tell you it is also one of the most walkable cities. So park the car and get out. And as Jason said, you've got your downtown hotel and the convention center all within walking distance, White River State Park, Central Canal, 250 acres of green space, all within downtown, tons of restaurants to walk to. You won't need the car once you get here. But then if you are flying, it's been exciting to watch the airport industry very recently. Just since 2021, we've announced 10 new flights into Indianapolis. So I think that shows you that air traffic and inbound flights are starting to return, both West Coast and East Coast. And it's the #1 airport in North America, and they've gotten that award for 8 years in a row, according to Airport Council International. So the authority of airports, Indianapolis is the #1 airport. So from a travel perspective, you're in a good spot, whether you're getting in the car or flying into Indianapolis.
Wow, thanks. We appreciate that update too. That's great. I imagine for a lot of the people listening to this around the country, it sounds like things are a lot different in Indianapolis compared to many places in the country. But it's really great to hear that things are, yeah, as close to being on their way back to normal as possible. It sounds like that's incredible. Jason, from your side, from the expo side, manufacturers, attendees. Um, Anything else as we should keep in mind as we get closer to registration? And by the way, if we haven't mentioned that already, when does registration open, and where can everyone find all that information and register for the show?
Sure. Well, registration will open on June 9th for attendees to sign up. We'll be coming out with information in the coming weeks on hotel reservations in the city. We have over 7,000 hotel rooms right downtown that we have booked. And there's more than 30,000 in the metro area. I've read some of the literature there, Morgan. So
I think, Jason, you're hired.
but it's the city's ready to welcome attendees and exhibitors for CEDIA Expo. I do want to mention that we'll have 100 seminar sessions from the CEDIA's conference program. We're going to have dozens of sessions on the show floor in our new wellness pavilion, our innovation hub, the launch pad for new to market companies. We've got the sound rooms, we've got major brands, exhibiting and we'll be showing new products. I think there's just a lot of anticipation to get back to see those products firsthand. So many people have commented to us from the industry how they miss the show, how much the show has been a vital part of their business and their professional development over the years. As we know, the residential systems industry has been doing gangbusters this year as people have been spending more time at home, investing in their systems to work from home, to learn from home, play at home entertainment. Whole home automation, more investment in outdoor living, security systems, obviously, and then of course, health and wellness. And so there's so much to learn about at the show for the industry to better serve consumers and homeowners. And we've also seen the trend of, as we've been working from home more, more of the commercial solutions coming into the resi market. At the same time, residential integrators taking on more commercial work moving forward. So we're seeing a lot of changes going on in the industry, and we want to talk about those at the show and help the industry continue to thrive. So there's so many compelling reasons to come back to CEDIA Expo. We're going to welcome all. We're planning for a fabulous event, and we're really excited. So stay tuned. Please check the website frequently and for updates and especially information about health and safety, but more importantly about the content programs that are coming up, the exhibitors that will be joining us. And we welcome everyone to Indianapolis this September.
All right. Well, on that note, there certainly is no better time to hold the CEDIA Expo, and we're really looking forward to going to Indianapolis. So Jason McGraw and Morgan Snyder, thank you guys so much for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you.
Alan.